Sweet, yeah, we're back. Cool. So, Mike, I know that you guys have been working hard. I mean, you're lead game designer. What was some of the big motivation behind putting out this browser-based FPS in consideration to normal, standard, the big titles out there right now?
Well, I think just the fact that it is in a browser was the biggest inspiration. We really wanted to go after that segment because no one had really done it before. Quake had done it for sure. I think we wanted to kind of put our own spin on it and, go forward with that. So first and foremost, that was the biggest reason we did that because it was relatively untapped. And with the Unity engine, I think we've been able to do a lot of really amazing stuff in a browser.
Yeah, and I know that was something, Quake Live has done a very successful job with it, and I know it's still, the whole browser theme is still kind of a foreign thing for, FPS gamers, especially in the free-to-play community when they're used to downloading a reactor and stuff like that. So outside of just the want to go browser, what were some of the biggest struggles with making sure that is a successful route of producing the game?
Well, one of our key elements of the game was, as you mentioned before, was making it so the user can get into the game super quickly, and so there were just inherent challenges with that. Like, where do you put that data? We have a browser cache, and is that big enough for the game? Like, how do we work within those limits? So that was one of the biggest issues, and then just making the in-game assets small enough to download quickly, but also making them robust enough so they look good, right? So keeping those two things balanced very closely, it's an ongoing challenge, but I think we've done a good job with that as well.
Yeah, for sure. I've been running this game perfectly smooth. There have been a few things that the community has brought up. I know, Jeremy, you work pretty closely with the community. How much inspiration has the community actually had as far as the input and what goes into this game?
Quite a bit, actually. So far, I'd say that it's actually more difficult to find devs here in the studio that don't read the forums, or that do read the forums and don't. All of us are on the forums constantly. And as soon as we see problems brought up or someone makes a suggestion, it's almost an immediate discussion. Hey, look, here's what somebody mentioned is a problem. Why don't we see if we can fix it? Or, hey, here's a great suggestion. Why don't we see about putting it in the game? Really good example is there's a couple folks earlier in the week that said, hey, the prices for the in-game currency in relation to the weapons are a little high. Are you guys going to bring that down? And sure enough, we had a multi-hour discussion last night about it. And we decided, we're going to bring those things down. So it's that fast that we decide over questions and suggestions from the community. It's very fast, and we take it seriously because the whole goal of a community-based game is to please your customer. That's something that I think that a lot of video games these days have kind of forgotten. It's that if you don't make your players happy, then how are you going to grow? How are you going to get them to stand behind you? And the answer is good customer service, giving them what they want to play, and treating them like people, and not trying to dumb down the game or dumb down how we approach that entire philosophy just so it's easier.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see, even so far, some of the things that have been added. And I know you guys went for a much more lighthearted game in spite of the community wanting something that's a little bit more outside of the normal realm of, search and destroy, sit there and wait and take everything very seriously. You have like the Tebow teabaggins, which I cannot get over. It's absolutely hysterical in the Pwn system, which we'll talk about in a little bit in the actual first look comparison. But as far as what comes next, I'm sure you guys have your own agenda from a development side, but what other things from a community standpoint can we also look forward to with that?
Well, there's a number of things. First of all, I think one of the most important things is we're going to, our friends list right now is in its infancy, and we're still working at the bugs, but that's going to be really helpful. You'll be able to invite people that are not only already playing the game, but aren't playing the game to come and game with you, so that you can invite friends and to play with you if you think the game is fun enough to warrant reaching out to people that you know outside the game. So we make it easy for people to get in. For hardcore players, we have our clan system that we're currently working on, and that's going to be, I think, very beneficial to everyone, especially because we're taking a lot of what they're saying into consideration as we design and develop it. and finding out what they want in this clan mode is a key to making sure that it's the best clan mode possible. And those are just two things that we're working on top of other things like supporting tournaments and some other cool things that we've talked about, but I don't want to say that is for sure because we still haven't decided if we're doing them or not. But we're open to just about anything that makes our fan base and players happy. That's what we want to do.
So I guess...
speaking of...
Oh, go ahead.
My bad.
Please.
Speaking of clans, we have a question from Stat315. Two questions, actually. Will this game take anywhere competitive, and will there be a tournament for closed beta, considering how you just talked about the clan system?
Well, we definitely want to bring this game and make it palatable for tournaments. That's what we're doing next week at QuakeCon. That's kind of our getting our feet in the water, so to speak. But for the future, definitely, I want to have modes that support tournaments. I want to have the server options that support tournaments. Making this a big part of esports. That's like a fantasy of mine. I would love that. So if we can, if we
among other fantasies,
I have a lot of fantasies.
That's disgusting.
If I can, if we can, delegate our resources and schedule correctly, I don't see why we can't do that.
Yeah, and I know that along with some of the more lighthearted things, there are a lot of people, especially in the free-to-play FPS community, that are looking for the next big thing. And obviously, this game being in still closed beta has potentially a while to go before it reaches the potential of what the community wants. But as far as clan systems go, I know that there's only the 4 game types right now in free-for-all, team deathmatch, capture the flag, and the capture point. Were you looking to add more of a demolition, search and destroy type thing, or is there anything else you guys were planning as far as game modes to add in spite of the competitive side?
Yeah, we have a long wish list of game modes that we want to do. There's siege modes in other games, search and destroy, variations on TDM and capture point and that kind of stuff, or the capture point mixed with capture the flag. That kind of stuff. I think our priorities in that will, again, kind of go back to the community and who we see playing what and who we hear. The larger voices, the majority will win in that sense because I think all of those game modes are valid.
And as a side note to that, one of the things when we announced the game, we also announced that would be available on mobile and tablets. And while this game, as you play it now, isn't necessarily what you're going to see on mobile and tablets, we are planning some additional ways to enjoy the game on those sorts of platforms we'll be making announcements on in the next couple of months. In fact, the team working on that particular version is just a few feet away from us, and we told them to be quiet. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, again, still changing the forefront of what could possibly be first-person shooters. I don't think there is one that is as interactively tablet and mobile phone-based, but I'm sure there's a lot of things behind it that you guys probably want to save for the actual release of that. I know I'm going to have to look into that and see what you guys have to offer as far as that goes. But speaking of the whole browser and the whole mobile faction, are you guys planning at any point moving away from the browser, or are you planning just to stay straight browser-based?
Our priority is browser, but I think we will eventually end up with a standalone client. There's some people who might naturally prefer that. The performance, we've done tests, the performance on the standalone is equal to the browser-based, but there's also other regions that prefer standalones, for cafes and whatnot because it's more secure. So we'll definitely have a standalone. When, I can't say, but it'll be there.
Speaking of kind of reaching out to new regions, I know that this closed beta has been going for a little bit, and you're looking to branch out a little bit further in the next month or two here. Where are the big hotspots you're looking to really expand the community to outside of North America?
Well, everywhere.
We announced Kongjong as our Chinese publisher. Around the same time we announced the game, not too far along after it. So China is one place that we're really looking at, and as we know, they're actually really big into competitive gaming over there, and so that's a big plus. And Michael, you were going to say?
Europe is huge. I think Asia and Southeast Asia is huge for us. We have a strong contingent of New Zealand players in the closed beta. Believe it or not, we want to make sure we get those guys a server. So. we're going to look at the numbers for closed beta and open beta, and we're going to see where players are, and we're going to make sure that they have a server. And then, of course, we will have territorial, official launches. But definitely, kind of where the players are, that's where we want to be.
We'll go to Middle Earth and Tatooine if that's where people are playing and they want to play.
Awesome. It'd be interesting to find a server all the way out there.
Would be in the bowels of Mordor.
You can bribe Belial. He'll do it.
Yeah, I'm sure he would love that. Although there might be a lot of server disconnection problems. He's the king of lies, after all. Kind of one of the last questions that I have, at least personally. I know that a lot of us at CSN and Incline TV have been trying to play together, and that's been kind of a guessing game of which server you get into. How long do you think it's going to be before there's an actual, more of a lobby type feel or an invite system as far as getting friends going in the same type of servers? I know it kind of goes along the same ways of getting the same clan ladders and stuff going on as well, but I know it's kind of a popular topic at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the friends list definitely segs really nicely into clan work. And right now we have a programmer working on the friends list. And I'm not sure how that parlays into matchmaking and how that's going to affect it. But I think it's going to be a positive change. And, we want to add in more of a friends list / party system. At the moment, you can definitely join. If there's someone on your friends list that's playing, you can join them unless the server's full. So
ultimately, though, you will be able to create your own private matches and private games, and be able to enjoy games that way. And so it's all part of the master plan. It's just, since we're still in closed beta, we're kind of rolling them out one little bit at a time.
Cool. Dave, you had a question from the community?
Yep. I don't know how to pronounce this game. I'm going to butcher it. Anzen asks, do you believe that this game will get competitive and go far?
Yes, because we have to, and I have a mortgage to pay, and that would be fantastic. No, it'll be. I think it will, because even though the aesthetic and the tone of the game is very funny and lighthearted, the gameplay itself is deadly serious. It's really finely tuned. We have a great weapons designer. We have a team of people that are in all departments that are playing the game all the time, that are doing nothing but trying to make the game better and better. And we're all game players on our own. Even when we're not developing games, we go home and we play more games, including this one. So I think that, in my opinion, absolutely.
I agree. I mean, I believe it. I think if we look at what's out there and we look at what the community wants and we respond accordingly, there's no reason why we can't offer that.
Excellent. Yeah, I know that especially a lot of the community out there right now who's watching are, again, that very long line of free-to-play first-person shooters out there. So thanks very much for coming out. Before you guys go, though, I got to just ask one last thing for each of you. What is by far your favorite feature of the game for both of you?
Well, I love the pawns. It's because it has that little element of personality. And if you're not familiar with what the pawns are, if you haven't seen that yet, in a lot of games, whenever you kill someone, people walk up and they press up and down, they crouch on them to do the teabag. We embrace that sort of approach. We give you experience and gold for doing that, and we let you do more than just teabag. We have everything from the My Little Pony, which is a personal favorite of mine, where you're riding an imaginary horse doing horrible things, to the one that you mentioned earlier, the Tebow Baggins, which
Barely
is
even say it with a straight face.
So that for me, plus anything that I've worked on, is my favorite.
And for
Will
me,
there be unicorns?
what's that?
Will there be unicorns?
I don't see why not.
Yes.
I think unicorns are on someone's wish list somewhere, so we'll get there. For me, I would agree with Jeremy. I think my favorite part of the game is definitely the pawns, but I like the other little systems. I like the quick switch to melee. I think that's a fun kind of skill-based mechanic. I like some of the consumables. I like the beacon a lot, which, if you don't know, the beacon is a homing beacon you can place on the person that last killed you, and you can track him, and you can and that can go back and forth. it's kind of clear after a while if someone's beaconed you, and then they'll beacon you right back, and then you have this great one-on-one duel going on in the middle of this 8-on-8 match. So I really like that too.
Sweet. Well, thanks a bunch, guys, for joining us with us. I know at the end of this whole event thing, we're going to do a little bit of a show match with the Incline TV and CSN staff. If we happen to see you guys in game, it'd be awesome just to hang out and play a little bit. So we'll keep you guys in touch with that. Thanks again, though, very much for coming on the show.
Yep, my pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So there it is. That's the call right there from the developers over at the U4ia Games in Bellevue, Washington. We are going to jump